Okay, so Agile and Wakanda. Oh, sorry. Welcome. No questions. Not, not now. Yeah, that's me. Why am I talking about Wakanda and Agile? Because in another life I was former Wakanda product manager. In fact, for the guy who was here yesterday, you had a number of people in the staff of Wakanda during years. At the beginning there was one people, it was me. I was alone, and now it's a big team, so it was a great product. So I was at the beginning of Wakanda, and I know we wanted to put an agile way of developing in Wakanda in the very beginning. Now I work essentially as an agile coach, helping teams to improve their production process, basically. So in this session I will try to join these two activities. So if you want to follow me, you need to have made an extra effort because it's in white. I don't know why. Oh, this one is better. So I've got a Twitter account and a blog, essentially on Agile right now. So the agenda is quite simple. What is Agile? And how is Wakanda Agile? And this is really an introduction, and I will just, about Wakanda and Agile, focus on two things: modeling and unit testing. So when we talk about Agile, maybe you think about that. Or you may think, for people who were there yesterday, about that. Okay. Often it's not very clear when we talk about Agile, what is really Agile, and what are we talking about? In our world, software development, there's a kind of motto. Everyone is telling us, please speed up, you're late. You know, like the little rabbit in Alice in Wonderland. I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. So everyone is trying to push you to speed up. Why? Because let it be from the client perspective, the market, the environment, especially in the web context, it's a context of fast mutation. Things are changing very, very quickly. And so it's very important that in your production process you're able to welcome change, because change is part of our context. And to know that you're satisfying the client, it's very important that you're able to deliver frequent releases as often as possible, because when you're delivering something, you're giving a return on investment to the client. He can sell your product, or he can monetize your product, and he can give you feedback. Does it fit me or not? And then you can adapt. So the question is, okay, we need to speed up project delivery. Context is pushing us. Clients are pushing, and market is pushing us. Question is, how? How can I speed up my project delivery? There are a number of ways to explore for that. You can try to put more people on the team. Who knows about the Brooks Law? Oh. Are you seriously working in the software industry? Yeah, that's it. If your software is late, putting more people in the project will make it to be more late, in fact. And It was in a book that you should read, which is called The Mythical Man Month, and the guy is his name is Frederick Brooks, and it's an essential book at the root of agile thinking. So it doesn't work very much. You can cut corners. That means less documentation or less testing, less quality. It can be a choice. But in this case, take care about what we call technical debt. If you have too much technical debt, you will have to pay for it someday, and then maybe you will be like the Greek people today. It will be very hard for you. Okay, so it can be nice to engage technical debt, but think that someday you need to pay back the money. You can also pressurize the team. Yeah. Tell them, okay, work longer, work on weekends. Problem is that you cannot do that for weeks, months, years. Okay, quality is getting down, people are getting off, and it's not a sustainable process. You can also buy tools. You can go at IBM, for example. There's a lot of very expensive tools, methods to help speed things up. Or you can choose to deliver less, also to be able to deliver quickly. Agile is about addressing these problems by changing paradigm, by doing a shift in the way we see things. And by the way, this is really a statue which is called changing paradigm. You may find it on internet. So, what about Agile? What is Agile? I will give you two definitions. First one comes from a French writer. I'm sorry for the English-speaking people, but you've got plenty of English books on Agile, so you won't have any difficulty to find resources. For French people, the author is called Véronique Messager, and she wrote in 2007 this book, Gestion Projet Agile, and this year, this one. They are very important books. And she said that an Agile method is an iterative and incremental approach. Iterative means we do several times the same process, and each time we bring more value to the product. This is an increment. We give more value. We handle that in a collaborative spirit, collaborative with a team, but also with a client. With a minimal formalism required, we try to avoid doing things that are not required, that are not essential for the success of the project. And that's how we get faster. For example, we do as less detailed specifications as we can. The goal is to generate a product with high quality. We focus on quality and taking into account the evolution of customer needs, the change in the context. So this is a quite useful definition. Another one from a Belgian team. This one, Agile is about delivering the highest business value possible, focus on business value, faster, and by putting emphasis on people. People are the resource that you need to focus on, and continuous improvement. Continuous improvement means that you're always trying to improve your production process, thinking about how you work and trying to detect problems and find collectively with the team ways for addressing these problems. Okay, words. Who said that? No, Shakespeare. Hamlet. Okay, let's see how it works. Just very quick workshop because the time box is very short. Please, my volunteers, please come here with your chair. And if you've got something to put your sheet on a paper or a laptop or whatever you want, you come with a chair. Stand up, please, and see what happens. Okay. So remember when you were young? At school, sometimes you were punished. Or if you were very clever boys and girls, you were never punished, but imagine you have friends who get punished, imagine. And you were put into detention. En retenue, pour les Français. Okay? And what have you got to do when you were in detention? Writing lines 100 times. During the afternoon, it was sunny outside, and okay. Take a chair, please. You will be more comfortable. Please, just sit down here, in the middle of this circle, and just imagine. So you're in detention. Wednesday afternoon, sunny Wednesday, and got 2 hours of detention. That will be 1 minute in our workshop, and you've got to write down 100 times, I need to be more agile. And in our workshop it will be 20 times. Okay? So that's the context. And it's crystal clear? Yeah. And if you remember when you were young, we tried to make it less boring. So we had the way of writing one phrase, another one, etc. But sometimes we're just I, am. Okay, you did that also? No, never? Oh, so you will do that today. Ah, yes, so clever girl. Okay? So, just I will ask you to do it this way. 20 times the same word, then second word, etc., etc. Okay, and you will write down one sentence after one another. I will try to be more agile. I will try. Okay. Time box is essential in Agile. So here, sorry, not this one. No, this is not a competition. Okay, 1 minute. Let's go. You can approach and yeah. Oh, you're nice boys and girls, in fact. It's sunny outside. It's a pity you should stay here. Okay, you'll be nice. Just write it down 3 times. And as soon as you've got 3 sentences, just give them to me and you can go out. Okay, nice. Oh, product well done. Okay? Yeah. Okay, that's all. How many sentences for you? None. What did you do? Yeah, okay. So thank you very much. Thank you for them. What is the lesson to take from this workshop? In Agile, we focus about finishing things in order to be able to deliver as soon as possible. You see that when you just start a lot of things, in fact, you're just storing items, and it's in fact garbage because nothing is finished, and it has in fact no business value at all. As soon as you've got one sentence, you can deliver one sentence. And you see that if the market is changing, we need to deliver faster than it was scheduled. We can have something with less value than scheduled, but still something which has a minimal business value. Okay? So this is the lesson. This is an example of how we can change our paradigm, focusing on finishing things and doing one thing at a time. Okay. So finally, Agile is a way of managing risks by focusing on people, making the team work collaboratively, but also the team communicate with the client and build a product together, and focusing on technical excellence. This is by reserving time for this continuous improvement process. In Agile approach, we stop producing from time to time just to ask themselves, how are we working? How can we improve our process? And how can we go towards technical excellence? How can we improve the quality of what we are doing? So that was the Agile part. Since it was really Agile for beginners. So next topic is, how does Wakanda encourage agility? In Wakanda, often you will be starting by designing a model. Why? Because it's a data-driven platform. The one good feature of Wakanda is that the Wakanda studio is providing you a graphical model designer. So it's quite easy to start designing this model. So you will exchange with the client and start describing in the data model the business domain of the client. Right. But from an Agile perspective, the question is, in 1 or 2 or in 2 or 3 weeks, which is the rhythm of one iteration, what do you get? Do you get a model, basically, which is just documentation with no business value? Or do you get what is called in Agile a working software? A working software has value because the client can try the software and can get feedback. Okay? You see the problem? We need to collect the business requirements. We need to know about the business domain. But how does it help us to build a working software? In the Agile Manifesto, they say that working software is a priority of our comprehensive documentation. They also say that working software is a primary measure of progress. Okay, not a lot of PKI, but how is the software we are building being able to be used by the user? What is working software? Basically, it should be testable and it should be executable. In order to be able to respect this mantra that is very important in Agile, test early, fail fast. We want to detect the defaults as soon as possible in order to be able to correct them as soon as possible, because the sooner we get them, the cheaper they are to correct. And we consider in Agile that failing is not a problem. It's part of the process. It's part of human life, of the nature. It's how we grow. We try, we fail, we learn, we succeed. It's how we learn how to walk, and everything in life is like that. So software is a human activity. So failure is part of the process. But the problem is to learn from failure and not repeat the same failure again and again. The good news in Wakanda is as soon as you've started describing your model in the graphical model designer, you don't have only a model with data classes. As soon as you've created at least one data class, you've got a working data service. And just going into your browser, you can start testing your data service. And so you can start testing your model. You can add data, modify data, retrieve data. You can do the basic CRUD operation. Okay, so it's testable. You don't have to write any line of code for that. Another excellent feature is the data browser, because just typing JSON in a tool may be not the perfect way of testing something. So just being able to see the data can be very efficient to interact with a final user. And in Wakanda, as soon as you've described a data class, you've got a working data browser, which is dynamic. Are there any 4D developers in the room? Yeah. In 4D, there was a good idea at the beginning, which was the user mode, which was a way to test our model, which was a relational model, quickly. And 4D was just creating forms for that in order to allow us to test. But problem was that the forms which were created were static forms. And then if you were modifying the relational model, the forms were out to date. With Wakanda, it never happened. The data browser is always up to date, and you don't have anything to do for that. You change something, and the data browser just reflects the last version of the data model. So you can interact with your data as soon as you've described something or changed something. So you see that welcoming change is really a reality in Wakanda. You change something, you can test. You can see what you've done. And this helps to be agile. In Agile, we believe that requirements are difficult for users. They cannot really tell what they want at the very beginning of the process until they've seen something, until they can try the software. So being able to give them partial delivery can help them to refine their requirements, to know better what they want to get really. So focus is on feedback here, being able as soon as possible to get feedback. So when you get feedback, you facilitate the change in the expression of needs, but you need to be able to change things without interrupting the system. Because if it's difficult to put the new requirements or the change of requirements inside the system, you would be very reluctant to change anything. So it's important from an agile point of view that the tool will help you to make change very easily. And that's the case with Wakanda. You need to be able to add new attributes, new entities easily. And just in Wakanda, you change an attribute, a property. You've got a message at the end, at the bottom, sorry, of the view. And you simply need to click on this button, reload model. And then the model is pushed on the server, and all services take into account the last modifications. And you can use the data service, you can use the data browser, you can test, and you can verify. And you can see if it fits the new requirements. So you get a working software, you get feedback, you can really adopt an iterative development process. And the goal is to make the business model emerge progressively with the collaboration of your client. So very basic demo just to see what I'm talking about. Here I've got my Wakanda studio. I've got a very simple model. Okay, it's here with employee and okay, very simple one. So I can run my project. It's a very simple one with just a detail form and here a synchronized data grid. Which the screen is a bit too small. Okay, so here you can navigate through the data. So you show that to the user. After first iteration, you've described this data class. It's an employee, name, first name, salary, manager, and so on. And the employee can be managed by another employee, and an employee can have several managed employees. And your users see that and, okay, that's nice, but I would better have here in my list the full name of my employee, not only the name. And I would also like to have the manager name in my list. It would be better for me to use it. Okay, you see the kind of feedback you can get. Okay, so first one, you take into account the request for getting the full name. So you get back to the model and you say, okay, here, just add a new attribute, full name, which is a string, and it will be a calculated attribute, just using a JavaScript sentence. So here, on get, I will calculate this, which is my current entity. So this will be this first name plus this name, and I will return this expression. Okay, work on the guy. Okay with that? No, they're sleeping. Okay, so you see, I've changed something and I've got my message. Model needs to be reloaded on the server. So I just here, where is my button? When it's so, I don't see my button. That's a problem. How can I access my reload button? Yes, I've got a stop one. Yeah, but it's better just to reload. Okay, but it's just a problem of a screen. Okay, I don't have access to my button. Okay, just start right now. Okay, I don't have access to the browser. Yeah. Here, if I reload my employees, I don't have anything new because I didn't change the screen, but maybe here I've got the data browser now. Nothing. Yes. See here, I've got my new column. I didn't write anything here, and I've got my full name column, so I can check what I did in my model. Okay, immediately. So next thing is, now I need to change my form, because my form didn't take into account the new column. So here, in my web folder, I go to my index.html form, and here I can change the description of my columns here instead of my name. Now you see that the studio knows about the new column, so I can use it right from now, and I use my new full name column. I save my form, I run my file, and here once again I've got a problem. No, because it's too short, but just believe me, it's here. I will show you here. Maybe I will change the name here with the full name. Full here tells me there is an error full name. Okay, save, run file. So you see now my name is just my full name, so it works. Okay. Okay, nice. So this is just a quick demo of the concept. The important thing here is dry. You know about dry? It's don't repeat yourself. You see, I just add my new attribute in the model once. I describe what is full name at one place, and then it will be available everywhere on any layers. Business layer, services layer in the data service through JSON, presentation layer on my client side, data layer and security layer. You only have to declare things once. And then, as soon as you've uploaded the model on the server, refresh the model on the server, it's available everywhere. So you're confident with changes. You can add a new class and a new attribute in a class, and list of models and data sources are up to date. See, here in the GUI designer, it was updated by the new model. So I could use it in my forms. So already, okay. So all this is available in Wakanda. Frequent delivery, because you get feedback, you can welcome change, you can apply the dry mantra, test early, fail fast, and have an iterative and incremental process. But you've still the enemy, the bug. Because problem is, okay, we understand, we welcome change. It's part of a living process. But if we are changing things continuously, how do we make sure that we preserve the existing behavior? How can we make sure that we don't break the code we wrote previously? Important question. Okay, in order to be confident in change, we must have a way to make sure that the change doesn't break the existing behavior. And what is the solution? First solution can be manual testing. Each time we modify something, we start testing and testing manually again. It's a boring process. It needs a lot of human resources. Even if you decide to work with remote offshore resources, which are cheaper, it still requires a lot of human resources. And it's human. Human can fail. Okay, so this is not enough. So it's very important in Agile that we can rely on automated testing. We cannot be confident in changing everything every time because the market needs it, because the client needs it, if we don't have a way to check that our software is working as we are expecting the software to work. So automated process is essential for Agile. You were at the keynote this morning? Everyone, yeah? 5 minutes? No? No? Remember that Thibaut was explaining about Wakanda unit testing? Remember, this is a very important part of a product process. And you saw that there was a way of testing things depending on each brick of Wakanda. Okay, you have to get the better way to test the studio that is different from the way to test the front end in the browser that is different from testing the server-side JavaScript and so on. And this is the tools that you need together in order to make your Agile process a reality. Unit testing, automated testing, is the basic brick for your Agile process. Here, the good news is that you can use unit testing in Wakanda, and it's quite easy. In Wakanda, you've got the UI framework, and you can benefit from this framework. So you've got here documentation of this framework, and you've got in Wakanda Doc Center a resource, writing unit tests in Wakanda, that helps you to discover how to write unit tests. This is the very beginning. This is where you need to start. And so this is the URL for this document. Okay, how many time left? Do you know? 10 minutes? Okay. So how does it work? First of all, you need to go into the settings. Here. Where are my settings? Not here. Sorry. A model. No, I don't want that. A problem with this small screen. No, this is. I just want the Explorer. Yes, thank you. Here I've got a unit test folder, and I've got my settings available here. So if you switch to the source mode of the settings, here, you need to, first of all, in order to benefit of the UI unit testing, you need to declare a new service, which name is, for example, unit test, and with attribute enabled equals true, and auto completion, and auto start equals true, and the path, which is a module path, equals services / unit test. Then you need to project settings file change. You need to stop the server and to reload the server, and that's all. You are ready to take benefit of unit testing. Come on, work on the server. Oh, nice. Okay, just work on the server. Okay, just relaunch everything. candidate solution. This is my fault, in fact. Made a here. I forgot to close my tag. So just start. Yeah, thank you. I made another mistake. Do you see anything that unit test? No, it's the service. It's not the folder, it's the service. What's the problem with my settings? Oh yes, it's here. No, it's in settings. Okay, I will do something. I will succeed in showing you something, I guess. Okay. No, I just want to remove the solution and to add a working solution. Existing project. This one should work. So here you've got the unit test declaration, and I can start my solution server. No, that's not a. It's another problem. It's normal. It's about Git. And here, in my unit test folder, this is how you write a unit test. You declare a test case object. You give it the name of your test, and then you will declare the assert expression which will check your test. And you know that for unit testing, one property that must be verified is isolation. One unit test must be isolated from one another. That means that when you run a test, if you need to have an existing context, you will need to set up the context, and at the end of the test, to tear down the context in order to be able to run different unit tests without any interferences. Okay? So this is how you declare the test, and then you want to see the result of the test in the studio, so you just ask for getting the HTML report. Just add this line at the end of your script. So let's see a working example. For example, this one. Remember, we added a new attribute, full name, so we want to write a unit test just to check that it works. So, for example, here we declare the test full name case. Then in the setup function, we just find one employee, another one which is mjo, and we add this employee to the context, which is this. So we have an existing context. Then when the unit test will be executed, we just delete the object we've created. And when we run the test, we want to test the get full name function. So we've got the expected value. We know that the manager of this employee is Eric Wood, and we just want to check that this we know that this employee is name Wood and first name, so we just check that the static value is the one that has been calculated by the JavaScript rule. Okay, and so we can execute that. So let's see how it works. Run file. C'est dessous, here. So here I've got two tests, two paths that are in green, and you see that you've got the name of the test, and you can see which test has passed or not. If I introduce here an error, for example, I change the expected value, run file. You see here, now I can check that I've got one failing test. So I can keep my existing code under control just by using automated testing. Okay? Sorry for the problems on the previous example. So just to conclude, you can easily start this service. You can also use a server-side JavaScript for that. And if you push further the concept, you know that you need to write tests for checking the behavior of any piece of code you're writing. So one reflection can be that, okay, if I need to read a code need to write a test after my code, why not starting by writing my test before my code? And this is the idea behind TDD. Do you know about TDD? What is TDD? Yeah, what? Test-driven development. That means that your development process will be driven by the test. The idea behind that is that all code is guilty until proven innocent. You don't have a way to be sure, 100% sure that your code is working if you don't have a test to check the behavior. And the father of this idea is this guy. Do you know about him? Alexandre? Ken Beck, which is also the father of XP, extreme programming, which is one of the Agile method. So he just advised us to write tests first, before coding. And usually the reaction of developers are quite surprised. But it's something that you should consider. And the TDD cycle is quite simple. You start writing a failing test, because if your test is not failing, you won't learn you anything. Okay, so first of all, your test should fail. Then you write the minimal code in order to make your test pass. And then your test pass, you can do what is called refactoring. You can improve the internal quality of your code. But you're quite sure of what you're doing, because if you break anything, the test will fail. So this is the TDD cycle. I don't have time, alas, for showing you an example for that, but this is the next step. Okay, so in order to be able to welcome change in an agile process, we need a tool that allows us to do it easily. This is the case in Wakanda. You saw that changing things in the model is quite simple and it's quite reactive. All the services are immediately aware of the changes. And then we need a way to make sure that we are not breaking the existing behavior. And this can be done using automated testing. Next step is going to TDD, writing test before coding. But this is quite another story. Any question? Yeah. Do you want the mic? Je sais pas comment il marche. Another one. Yeah, je t'écoute. Hein. Now, the question is, I said that it was quicker to do automated testing than manual testing. No, I didn't say that. I say that it was time consuming to run again and again the same manual testing. Not because the idea is you're changing. Anytime you change, you need to recheck everything. So you need to do manual check for all the existing code. And every day, each time you change something, and at the end it's quite a long time, much more than the time it took to write down the test. In fact, yes, I agree, first time you write the test, it's longer. But as soon as you start changing things, it pays on. The other question is, what is the life cycle of the test? Yeah, as long as you don't change what you test, the code remains valuable. If you change the internal foundation of this test, you should change the test, of course. Okay, but how many tests have you got on Wakanda Studio, for example, François? You know? Yeah. And on the whole product, sur le projet complet? Yeah. You know, on Wakanda, you've got thousands of unit tests that are run every night, every time you build. And this is the goal. The goal is that progressively, because they didn't get that on one day, it was an iterative process. But the goal is that at the end, each time indeed you make a build using Maven or things like that, you script the build in order to execute the test. And you use tools like Jenkins, that is the one you're using, just to automate things. Yeah. How long? It's finished? Okay, last question. Yeah. Yes, of course. The idea is that you start by the minimal thing, and static string is the minimal thing. Okay. In TDD, we use what we call baby steps. So you start with minimal code, minimal test, and then you enrich as much as you can. Okay, but first of all, we need a test should be less than 1 minute task to be achieved. Okay, and then we improve. Okay, that's answer. Okay, thank you very much. Sorry for the delay. Good test.